Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Master Menopause Metabolism with Andrea T. I am excited to dive into today's topic, which I think is pretty controversial, but I'm going to basically unpack it so you're going to understand more what it means, what it is. So basically, we're going to talk about something everyone's been hearing about, but maybe doesn't fully understand. It's the GLP-1 medications like Ozempic. So if you've been scrolling social media or watching the news, you've probably heard, I would guess, buzzwords like weight loss miracle or even seen the lawsuits. But what does it really all mean? And is it something that can actually help women over 35 safely and effectively? Let's break it down. And some of you may already be on it, had some adverse reactions. I don't know, but this is a good topic we're going to basically unpack. So let's talk about what is a GLP-1? So GLP-1 stands for glucagon-like peptide 1, a naturally occurring hormone that happens in your gut already. So we already have it. And so I think it's important that we do know the name of it, a glucagon-like peptide, okay? So what its job is to slow digestion, regulate your blood sugar, and signal to your brain that you're full, basically helping control appetite and improve insulin response. So Ozempic and similar drugs like Wegovy, Ribosys mimic a GLP-1 to help people lose weight, mostly by reducing appetite and stabilizing blood sugar. So think of it as like a little helper for your hormones, but it's not magic. It's biology. And again, it is a tool. So I think that's something I definitely want to emphasize with this. And we also think about like when this was created, it was basically created for people with type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance that did not have a good manage on their blood sugar. And so this is used as a tool to help them with that. So that's where it came from. But what has become over the past, few years here is now it's become kind of a mainstream. Doctors are prescribing it, and basically the more they're prescribing it and the higher the dose, the more that's kind of re-incentivizing and helps them keep things going, basically. So it is now kind of like people think as like a weight loss, I don't know, magic pill. But I want to tell you, it really isn't. But we're going to talk about how to responsibly use it. It is something that can work, just like workouts, but you can over work out, right? Or cutting calories for a short time, but you can do a lot of damage to your body if you do it all the time for years and years and years. Okay, so it's kind of like the same thing with this is it needs to be understood better. So let's talk about some of the lawsuits, the public buzz about this whole thing. So they're talking about side effects, marketing claims, and shortages that affect people who truly need it for diabetes. So also a lot of the headlines are exaggerating risks without context. Yes, there are potential side effects. So there can be nausea, digestive issues, sometimes rare heart issues, but it's about how it's used and monitored more for that. So if you're just given a high dose immediately, that's when things need to be questioned because yeah, you're going to have a lot of nausea, digestion issues, like early on, and this is about 2 years ago, I had someone come to me and they said, yeah, I've been put on a GLP. Can you help me? I want to lose the weight, but I want to do it in the right way. And I said, okay, sure. What are you eating? And she said, well, I'm not hungry at all. I was like, okay, that to me was like red flag number one. And then she's like, yeah, I can eat like an egg and then maybe get another one and a little bit of chicken like later on so I can get the protein. So I'm thinking, okay, so 1 or 2 eggs is 12 grams of protein, and then a little bit of chicken. What does that mean? Like even if it's 4 ounces, that is like 20 grams. So we're talking 32 grams of protein a day, not to mention that's hardly any calories. That's like 120, calories. So 300 maybe for the eggs if we're being generous, if it was cooked in like oil. And then, fast forwarding to the chicken breast, which is about like 120 or so. It's like 400 calories a day. And I'm thinking, God, this is really crazy. And I'm like, are you working out too? Yeah, I'm trying, but I don't have a lot of energy. And I'm thinking, of course you don't. And I don't know who gave it to her. I don't know what, but like we basically tried to get things straight with her and her food for a short time and found that it just wasn't working. I couldn't work against that kind of dosing. So it's important though for you guys to understand that this is not a quick fix and it's really not for everyone. But that's what the lawsuits are about. It is about marketing claims because they're marketing it as like you take this, you can lose the weight, or that's what a lot of people are saying they were told in the front end. They weren't explained that they could have stomach paralysis or that they might go blind or, more the digestive issues, and the side effects that way. They were just told like, oh my God, you want to lose weight? Just get on this. It'll be easy. And I'm sure that happens, in sub for sure. I mean, so misuse versus responsible use. Let's talk about that now. So misuse, we're going to use it without medical supervision, using it purely to lose weight fast, skipping, any type of lifestyle changes. That's when I get concerned. And, responsibly though, if you want to use it like under a doctor's guidance, but making sure that you titrate it up correctly, make sure that you're listening to the side effects. So even just a little bit of nausea or loss of appetite or overly full feeling or constipated, those are all signs that the dosing's a little bit too high for you and you probably need to come down a little bit and let your body adjust. So as part of, also having some structured nutrition, movement, and habit programs. So that's really a big part of what we're educating on is that, because they've done a lot of studies too, like endocrinologists have studied, like if you want faster results, you can do your GLP, the day of and basically at like 3, 4 o'clock, fast for the rest of the day, really get it into your body. And then the next day, make sure that you're eating the protein. You could do like some MCT oil, some butter coffee, bulletproof in the morning to continue that fat burning effect. And then doing like squats and deadlifts and chest press, like those big form of strength training movements actually increases not only because you've got this, glucose, this GLP peptide in your body, now you're going to have some more human growth hormone happening and it really works all together. So it has to be part of a structured movement and habit program too. And so that's who I'm apt to refer, like say, okay, you know what? I had this client, let's just call her Joanne. And I've worked with her for 3 years and she's doing, great as far as her health goes and her habits. Like she's doing her walking, she has a weighted vest, she does her strength training 3 to 4 times a week. And she's gotten to an all-time great, low basically with her body weight, but she's still having some brain fog, some trouble sleeping. She's 62, and she's like, basically it's like, okay, your habits are there. We've been doing this for 3 years, but you do want a little bit better results. So to me, I was like, okay, we've already looked at her hormones, her labs. We know her thyroid's in a good place. I think that's an okay, responsible use to use it with Joanne. And that's what we did. And now she's lost a few pounds, feeling good. Things are moving along again. So just making sure that you're regularly doing your labs, hormones, overall health, not just the basics. Like I would say, do a Dutch hormone test, kind of dive in, emphasize, that to your doctor or, to whoever you're working with, that you want it to complement this, your lifestyle, not replace it. And so those are the people that I feel like do really well because they're already hitting their 130 grams of protein a day. They know what to eat. They've got their fiber. Like that was Joanne to a T. So if you just take Ozempic and keep eating donuts every day, it's not going to fix your hormones. It might even make things worse. And so that's an important thing to note. So this is how Tone for Life uses it. In our Tone for Life, midlife hormone mastery program, GLP-1 meds can be a tool for women over 35, just like hormone replacement therapy. So there's a time and a place, like, should we go crazy? There are studies about, there's some controversial studies about pellets for hormones, that they're too much for your body. We have to be really careful with those kinds of things. But when we are dosed accordingly and things are good, I 100% am for it. And if you have any questions about hormone replacement therapy, I mean, I've got the book behind me, Estrogen Matters, which is just study after study and, data after data that just basically says, how helpful it can be. It's the same thing with this. Like, we're getting more and more data on this, like in a smaller dose combined with lifestyle as a tool, it can be really helpful. So then the next thing we want to combine it with is hormone balancing nutrition. So we still want to check all the boxes and make sure, like, we've gone into those gluten foods, the dairy, make sure that there's no over like inflammatory food that is healthy for you that's causing issues. Make sure we have a balanced plate, make sure we're hitting a certain amount of protein. And then the next thing we do is we want movement that really supports your metabolism. So building up strength, helping those cortisol levels go down, in the walking that's going to support fat loss and not, burn off your own muscle. And then having good habit building and accountability coaching. So I always tell people, like, hey, we're not going to talk at you. I'm not going to just hand you a plan. I don't believe in that at all. I actually think that's the biggest part of the problem. But no, it's going to be like, hey, I'm going to get in the hole with you and I'm going to show you the way out. And that was something I learned in my mindset certification, is that that's what the difference is between personal trainers and physical therapists, per se. So both have really, really good sound pieces and places in people's life, but they do things differently. So I almost think like the two in conjunction work really well. So like, I love it when I have a client who is working with a physical therapist, when I was personal training, and then we could take their exercises they're doing with their PT, actually get them done in the 3 sessions a week we did, and then we'd add on other things that would make sure not to hinder the process they're doing there, versus just giving them an assignment, assuming it's going to get done. That to me is not accountability coaching. If you're only checking in once a week, it's not much into lifestyle. So the two together go really good. And that's what I feel like is great. Like, if you have a doctor who's prescribing, you can also then make sure you have someone who's making sure you're doing things that helps you, like controlling your appetite, stabilizing your blood sugar, and feeling empowered with your lifestyle changes. So, like I said, Joanne was plateaued for months and she was doing all the right things. And then she started the GLP, and under, supervision, she worked with, a company that I, use, and it's amazing. Like, the doctors there got her the right dosing. She started out slow and now suddenly she's seeing progress and it's lasting and it's good. Let's talk about other clients that I've had that have come to me and they're like, I've lost 60 pounds, but now, I'm off the med, and, because doctor gave the med, lost the weight. And then now their food noises come back. They're afraid of everything you're eating. They don't really know what to do. That to me is like, so then we come in again and we're going to help them reverse diet so we can increase their metabolism by hopefully building muscle. And so then we do a fat loss phase after that. So that we can get their body to reacclimate to eating food again and not gaining all of the weight back. Hence, what happens if you don't slowly get your body into the right habits. So those are the kind of clients that really, really do well with us. And so I, definitely want to give you some good, takeaway here, that GLP-1 meds can be helpful if they're used correctly, but they're not a substitute for lifestyle and hormone work and metabolism work. I mean, that's the number one thing, because I do feel like, yes, it gives you an extra leg up to help everything process, get through your inflammation, give the results, but you still have to do the work with your metabolism. If you were on a high dose and had a very low appetite, and you were just eating protein and doing your strength training, you're going to have to reverse diet out of that when you get to your goal weight. Super important. Or if you're just coming off one right now and you're like, oh my God, I'm paranoid, I don't want to gain the weight back. Like, do we do a low dose to give you a little bit of help and then reverse that at the same time? Like, everybody's going to be very individual. Have you had your hormones tested? Like, where are things at? Have you looked at your GI, like your gut? Is there something going on there that's kind of lingering? So there's a lot of data that we can help you figure out. And then once you do, you absolutely don't go on the weight gain, regain, lose kind of train, which I think women are so sick of, and so am I. And that's why I created this business. It's about emotional healing. It's about healing your relationship with food, your body, accepting who you are as a woman, and then feeling really good. And then what are the physiological things to make it work? So I want you to understand that hormones and building sustainable habits is always the key. And that's a longer term, I would say that's a harder work. So there's never any such thing as a magic pill. There just isn't. Like, for nothing in life, if you think about your relationships with your spouse or with your kids or your friends, that all takes nurturing over time and will. It's the same thing here with your body, brushing your teeth. It's never anything that you stop doing. Like, once you stop doing it, yeah, your teeth start to get icky, your relationships go bad. It is a long-term game, and it's really important. You never can stop. You always need to exercise, maintain your muscles, ladies. And, there's maybe a time and a place where we really dig in, optimize, get you to your goal weight, help you reverse out and stay there. So if you want to learn how hormones are really driving your weight gain and how tools like the GLP-1 can safely fit, you can join, my free hormone reset workshop this month. So I'll show you exactly how to balance hormones and finally feel like yourself again in real time. So I just want you guys put a one below or tone. Those are the two words will get you hooked up so you can get into that free workshop. But thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe for more hormone hacks, weight loss truths, real life strategies for women over 35. I am excited. I will see you next time, where we're going to talk a little bit about your metabolism isn't broken. It's just misunderstood after 40. And I'm going to help you understand it. And we'll talk a little bit about that metabolism connection no one talks about. All right. Good to see you. See you next week. Have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.